Hey guys, how y'all doing? So my name is Roy Estus. I wanted to take a few minutes and just give y'all a little insight and hopefully a testimony of hope of what the Lord's done in my life since coming to Faith Farm. So probably about 2 years ago, I found myself in a position to where I was stuck in a terrible, deep pill addiction. From that point, I had lost everything. Lost my business, lost my family, lost all hope. And I found myself at Faith Farm, Okeechobee. At first, I wasn't sure what the place was all about. I wasn't sure of anything. I didn't even know who I was, much less where I was going to be in life from that point moving forward. All I had known was that I lost everything and everyone I had ever loved. And of course, that all stemmed back from, things in my childhood and my past in which Faith Farm allowed me to find healing on and peace within. So going through the program, I was sold out. I was sold out for the Lord. I was sold out for what, the Lord was going to do in my life. I graduated the program. I was on fire for the Lord. And I found myself in a position to be an AS1. I stayed AS1 for a little bit. And then something happened. I thought the Lord restored. I felt the Lord was restoring not only my family, but brought me into a good Christian relationship with a woman. Had an opportunity to start a business up. All these opportunities came my way, and I thought for sure that's got to be the Lord telling me it's time to go. It's time to leave the farm. Short of the commitment that I had made to the farm. And so I did so. And I left, and I went on my own. And slowly but surely, I started making small compromises that led me to eventually start putting the Lord into my back pocket. I would give him this, but I wouldn't give him this. I would give him my heart, but I wouldn't give my wallet. And one circumstance led to another, and before I knew it, I was in a position to where I went out and had a drink. Well, one drink led to two drinks led to three, and three drinks led to me finally calling the pill man and relapsing. 7 months out of the farm. Now here I was on fire for the Lord, doing everything that we're taught to do. But the problem was, just because I knew it here, I didn't believe it here. And then the hurricane came. Hurricane shuts my business down, puts me in a position to where here I am, I'm on my knees again. 2 days later, after the hurricane shut my business down, I get a call saying, Roy, your father had a major heart attack. He's not going to make it. You probably need to say your goodbyes to him. Now, mind you, he was my business partner. He was my biggest fan, but he was also my biggest codependent. And although people at the farm tried to tell me that in my past, I didn't hear it. I didn't listen. I didn't realize it. But I found myself at a point to where I had nowhere to go or nowhere to reach but up. Now, in life, I know that we're all faced with decisions, whether or not we're going to go to him in a time of crisis or whether we're going to try to rely on ourselves is up to us. That's our decision. That's what we choose to do. So, moving forward, rather than going to the Lord, I went right back into my addiction. And I went on a 5-day binge of trying to kill myself. Why not? I had lost everything in my life that I had thought I loved once again. My father was on his deathbed. My business was going under. The Christian woman that was with me left me. Everything went down the drain. And the thing is, I knew it here, but I didn't know it here. So for about 4 days straight, I tried to kill myself. But God kept waking me up, and I'd wake up the next morning going, why? Why, Lord? Why wake me up? On the 5th day, I got a phone call from a brother of mine who was in Faith Farm, Fort Lauderdale mega program, saying, look, Roy, we don't know what's going on with you. We just know that you need to get here, that something ain't right. And I hear it in your voice, and that's something Faith Farm will give you is the opportunity to not only building relationships with other brothers that are like-minded, but they'll also give you the opportunity to to get to know people on a more intimate, more personal level. And because of this brother, I ended up on Thanksgiving night at Faith Farm once again. Only this time it was Faith Farm, Fort Lauderdale. So as I went through the program, I walked around in guilt, shame of letting everyone down once again. It got to a point to where I was in phase 1, and the instructor told me, he says, "Roy, you gotta make a decision. You know all this. You've went through the best of the best at Okeechobee. You know everything that we have to teach you here. What didn't catch?" And it was in that moment I realized I knew it here. I just didn't have it in my heart. And that was the difference that made every bit of difference in my life moving forward. So pastor comes to me one day and he says to me, "Roy, you need to make a decision. You need to get on your knees. You need to ask the Lord to do something so big in your life that you know it's only from him, that it couldn't be done any other way." So that's exactly what I did. After 2 weeks of contemplating this, I got on my knees one day in the middle of chapel, and I cried out to the Lord, "Lord, I need you. I need you to come through, Lord." And my father's sitting on his deathbed. "Father, if you're real, please just come through for me. I need you to answer this prayer. I need you to restore the relationship between my father and I before he passes." Now, mind you, this is a relationship. The last conversation I had with my father was him telling me, "Roy, you're dead to me. You don't exist. If I die on this operating table, I'm okay knowing that you are no longer my child." Did it crush me? Absolutely. But it brought me to a point to where I needed to start relying on what I had here and put it to my heart. So I did that. I got on my knees and I asked him to restore that relationship. About a week later, I get a phone call from my son saying, "Dad, I want you to come up to Cocoa Beach. I want you to come see me. I'm getting married, and you're going to be a grandfather, and I want you to meet my wife." So what I had not mentioned at this point yet, that was my second prayer that I prayed. So God came through on that first prayer of restoring the relationship between my son and I. In the process of doing so, I was called up to the office, and I was told that, "Hey, there's 2 officers over in Okeechobee looking for you." I said, "No, there's no way. I've never been in trouble in my life. No legal troubles or anything like that. I can't believe that. There's no way." So I look on the computer. I find out I have an active warrant out for my arrest. Well, during this process, I realized that this active warrant that was out for my arrest was for something I had done while contracting back before I came to the farm again. To make a long story short, I prayed and I asked the Lord what he wanted me to do about this. So I worked it out to where I could go up, see my son get married, be there, and meet the mother of my grandchild. And then after that, I was going to walk up into the jail and turn myself in. Here I am. I had never been a man of integrity up to that point in my life. And from that point in my life, I was now a man of integrity, and I wanted to live out of the man Christ made me to be. So I did that. I went up there. I seen my son. And then turned myself into jail, not knowing what was going to happen. I walk in, and the only thing that I heard the Lord tell me in that moment was, "Praise me for and during the storm." And he went completely silent on me after that. I walked in, I handed myself over, and little beknownst to me, I was thinking I'd be out the next day, back on my way to Faith Farm. That wasn't the case at all. What ended up happening was I sat there for 32 days. I'm going, "Lord, what's going on? Why have you, forsaken me? I've done everything you'd asked me to do. Why am I in this position today?" And nothing, complete silence. So as I'm sitting there, I'm getting in my word. I'm trying to stay faithful. But look, I'm losing hope again. The reality is I was losing hope again. Wasn't hearing from the Lord. Not sure why he was forsaking me after I've done all these things he'd asked me to do. And on the 28th day, I get a knock on my bunk. "Mr. Estus, get up. You got a visit." I said, "Man, go away. You got the wrong guy. It's not here for me. Nobody's coming to see me. Nobody knows I'm here other than a few people from the farm." So I get over to the screen. I look, kind of peek around the corner. And as I do, I see my father sitting there. And in that moment, I knew and what he meant by saying, praise me for and during the storm. See, he was working. God was working in the midst of all of these things. He was getting me to a position to where he wanted me to trust in his plan versus doing what I thought he needed to do in my life. And it was because of my obedience and doing what he told me to do against what many told me not to do that I was able to walk in there, go into that jail, sit there for 28 days, and sit across from my father, and for the first time in my life, have a father and son relationship with him. It was in that moment I knew I was sold out for my purpose, both at the farm and for Jesus Christ. 2 days later, I was released. Well, I don't know about you guys, but for me, that was evidence enough that those two prayers that I got on my knees and asked the Lord for, he answered, bar none. Absolutely no question in my mind. So I came back to the farm. I graduated the farm, and I have chose to stay on. And I was asked to stay on and get back. See, something that resonates with me is many are called, few are chosen. I now know that I was chosen because ministry is now my life. And it's because of this place, it's because of what they do here at this place and teach at this place that I am able to sit in front of you today alive and happier than I've ever been, giving back to these men. So for Faith Farm, thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you for giving me the chance to come back and find my true purpose in the Lord. Guys, if I can give you anything, I ask you just to hold on to this, because what this place has done for me is given me a new opportunity for life, a new opportunity to just completely turn everything I know into him and live for Christ from this point forward. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing y'all years to come. Thanks, guys.